In this video, let's take a quick look at a recent Hive OS update and some things you need to watch out for. Over the past day or so, Hive OS has been applying some UI updates, mainly for the dual mining options that a lot of the miners have now. However, it actually semi-broke a UI piece on the ASIC side. So before we jump over to the ASIC side, and I happened to run into this, I was configuring some stuff on my personal instance of my Prophet switcher for my FPGAs. And when I was doing that, I ran into this issue. So right off the bat, let's first take a look at the UI update. If we head over to our flight sheets, and let's just go to like a T-Rex flight sheet. You can see we now have a first coin tab and a second coin tab. So they kind of broke this out into multiple tabs. In doing that, if we jump back over to one of my FPGA flight sheets, and these are all flight sheets that use the ASIC miner. And if you see here, we've got a user config, but if we edit this, it looks like the user config is empty, but if we try to highlight it, we can actually see there's content in there, but you can't actually read it. It just looks like a font issue. So if we do Control A, Control C, let me go ahead and open up Notepad real quick. And if we paste that in here, we can see, okay, I've got my config. So you need to be real cautious of this, especially if you're copying flight sheets and editing them, which is what I was actually doing earlier. I was creating some similar flight sheets for pro hashing and mining Dutch and some other platforms that I already had the base coin flight sheet set up for. And when I was doing that, that's when I noticed this issue. This is very important on ASICs and even more important on FPGAs, especially the black miner FPGAs. And the reason for that is you have to specify the algo that you want to mine and the frequency that you want the chip to run at. And each algo has to run at a different frequency. So if we take a look here, skiing runs at 420 megahertz. But Layer 2 Rev 2 only runs at 234. So if we had copied this over, we would have actually kind of overloaded the FPGA if we didn't change it. Or it would have attempted to start hashing Layer 2 Rev 2 or skiing when we were pointing it to a different pole. We'd end up with a bunch of crashes. FPGAs are kind of hard to monitor what's going on. And the Hive OS integration makes it a little bit easier because it actually tells you the error message. You don't have to go digging through logs. But that's just something to be aware of, that this is happening. This was fine a couple days ago. I haven't tried doing ASIC miners until today. It's been a few days. Just something to keep an eye out on. If you have a black miner FPGA, if you're configuring like a L7 or an L3 Plus, trying to set up flight sheets, do Prophet switching, whatever you might be doing, just be cautious of that and make sure that if you do have a user config, that you double check it. I would recommend copying in the Notepad first, just to make sure it's all there. If you're ever unsure, you can just kind of highlight everything, kind of see what's highlighted that you're not seeing. We can see all these are blank, so those are all fine, but we're unable to see that text. So just wanted to throw out a quick video, kind of walk you guys through this current issue. Hopefully they get this fixed within the next day or so, and it won't be too big of an impact, but just until that's fixed, just be double cautious when copying flight sheets and when setting up new flight sheets.